Hey guys, so I'm here to kind of discuss the online counseling website for the discussion board and kind of, reflect on my thoughts and, what I saw on it and just kind of describe how I feel about it. When I first got to the website, I just thought it was really interesting. I kind of first just like went through all the different tabs of like the different you know, services, I guess, that were offered. But the one thing that really caught my eye was that there's a disclaimer on the bottom, as I'm sure you saw, about how, they're not qualified or, certified like marriage and family therapy therapists or, something like that. So they don't, have like a license per se, which to me could be kind of makes me a little, I don't know, questionable, I guess. So that was kind of like one thing that just like kind of caught my eye right away, like off the bat, was that. And so there were some other concerns as well. I would say that like when you're thinking of like online counseling and stuff, it's hard because you don't have that like one-on-one like face-to-face contact, and I feel like a lot of times that could be really helpful just to kind of see body language or like hear someone's tone, or just I don't know, I feel like it's easier to kind of connect in that way when it's like in person, like one-on-one, or whether it's a group therapy or whatever. I just feel like in person is always just so much easier to kind of gauge how someone's feeling and maybe be able to help them in a more efficient way. And the online thing, I feel like some more concerns is just kind of hard with the technology factor, even though technology is so huge, and I feel like it's, becoming more prevalent in our lives today. I feel like there could be issues, with technology. There's always some kind of an issue, whether this email or this, thing didn't get to so and so, so the information's not being relayed to, the client or vice versa. So I feel like that could cause an issue. Whether if it was just in person, you're there, you're talking, there's nothing to send or, something like that. And then another concern that I had was just, it said it was, confidential and stuff like that. But I don't know, I feel like stuff on the internet, how confidential is it? Like that kind of is kind of concerning, I guess, because you don't really know, I guess, what's happening to the information you're sending out to, this coach, this life coach, or whatever. So that's kind of concerning. And what else did I have? Also, I was just gonna kind of relate, from experience, whether, if I'm having an issue and I'm just going to say a friend or something, if you're texting and I feel like they can't really relate, they can't give you advice like over text. I feel like in person is just so much easier to kind of gauge someone's feelings, as I said earlier. So just kind of from experience, talking in person always, I feel like is just way easier, and I feel like that's why I personally wouldn't use this kind of service, like the online counseling type of thing. I would much rather go, in person. I feel like that'd be more beneficial. But like I do see like some aspects where it could be, useful and helpful for some people. If someone is feeling ashamed or, discouraged from going in person, and they, I feel like at first that could be how a lot of people feel. They don't want to like fully spill out, their life story to someone they don't know, like in person. That can be kind of intimidating. I can see that. So I feel like online would be an option that someone like that might want to go for. As well as someone maybe who can't like physically leave the house. Maybe they have, something where they just literally can't move. They can't drive, or, whatever the circumstances, maybe it's easier for them to just do the online thing so they don't have to actually, physically leave the house or something like that. So I could see that, working in someone's favor during, that circumstance. So let me see what else I have. But yeah, I feel like that's pretty much all. Overall, I mean, it was very interesting kind of just like seeing the website. I hadn't really looked at anything like that before. And it's personally not something I would use, as I said earlier, but I feel like in certain cases, I feel like it could be beneficial. I feel like not to its full potential. And I do think overall it's kind of taking away from like the counseling profession as a whole, because, I feel like counseling, like having that personal connection is so important, and to be like to feel like you are, truly connected to someone and like be able to help them in that way. I feel like the online thing kind of just cuts that connection off a little bit. So I feel like in person is just way more beneficial in my opinion. But I'm really curious to see what you guys think about the online counseling thing too. So I enjoyed speaking about this, and I can't wait to read y'all's post.